Let's go and talk about the Spurs squad overhaul. We've had an update from Matt Law, and he says Tottenham intend to completely reshape the squad for Ange Postecoglou. A major clear-out will take place this summer. Tottenham are believed to willing to let go as many as 7 first-team players, led by captain Hugo Lloris and Ivan Perisic, in what could be a big summer of change. On top of the first-team players who could be allowed to leave Spurs will attempt to sell Lo Celso, Reguilon and Harry Winks, who spent last season out on loan. The futures of Davinson Sanchez and Ryan Sessegnon at Tottenham are in doubt, whilst bids, if they are made, could be listened to for Ben Davies and Eric Dyer. Also, Tanguy Ndombele. There's yet to be made a decision on Tanguy Ndombele's future, and sources have indicated that Ange Postecoglou may wish to take a closer look at the midfielder before a decision on his future is made. So, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's all probably right in terms of upping the quality of the squad, getting players out who have been here for too long, getting players out who don't want to be here as well. And maybe even players who we think probably won't fit how Postecoglou wants to play. I think all that makes sense. As I've said, I think it makes sense to take a closer look for the new manager to take another look at Ndombele. I would also say the same with Lo Celso, to be honest. But at least if Lo Celso, we know we're going to get money for him, then I guess it's worth selling. But from Ndombele's point of view, if we're just thinking about cancelling his contract, you might as well take another look at him, just in case the manager believes there's something more he can do rather than just spending the money to cancel his contract. I think that's probably a better way to deal with that situation. So I think that I'm happy with that, and I think every player there, it's just whether we can get buyers. That's going to be the big question, because it's going to be very hard to sell to a lot of clubs in Europe. Maybe Dyer and Davis can get Premier League moves if they're lucky. But again, I think, like for someone like Davis, we're going to be demanding like 10, 15 million. I don't know if we'll get it. For someone like Dyer, we're probably going to be demanding 10 million or something like that. Maybe we'll get it from a bottom half Premier League team. But I'm happy we're considering offers for them. I think they should be definitely up for sale. And I think when it comes to Sanchez, who are the other ones? Sanchez, Sessegnon.
Sanchez and Sessegnon. That's what he says. Lloris, Perisic.
We're not going to get anything for. Nothing substantial. Sanchez,
we ain't going to get nothing for him either.
We're not going to get anything for him. Honestly, I think he's one of those players, even if you just get rid of him on a free, get rid of him.
Ryan Sessegnon's a strange one, because he's kind of a 30 million, but we just can't get him on a pitch. I mean, who's going to spend money on him?
That's the thing. You can't get him on the pitch, and when he is on the pitch, he's inconsistent, and that's not a very good. Those are two things that aren't good together, essentially. So, are we even going to get 10 million for him at this rate?
I can see teams like Nottingham Forest, maybe Luton, taking a punt on him.
Potentially, I even think he might have to drop to the Championship at this rate.
Could be
at this rate, because I don't see him being a starter, right? And also, you got to remember, he's also a very specialist player. He can't play at left back, really. He can't play at left wing. So you can only sell him to teams who play 3 at the back, essentially. So it cuts out a whole load of other teams who might have looked at him. So it's going to be hard to shift him for anything close to what we got for what.
Does Sheffield United still play 3 at the back?
Sheffield United, yeah, I think so, don't they?
Ship him off to Sheffield United. That's what I say.
Maybe they'll take him. Maybe we'll be a bit lucky. Maybe we'll go back to Fulham. I mean, they don't play 3 at the back. But maybe Marco Silva might feel like he can do something with him. Maybe
any of the promoted clubs would take a punt on any of these players.
Maybe it's a thing like include him in a kind of swap deal, maybe. But swap deals are so rare these days. It's hard to. In Winks' case, I can't see us getting much money for him as well. Maximum 5 million. I don't see much more than that.
We just sent him out on loan. He got relegated from Serie A. I mean, he's had the opposite of effect to what it usually is leaving Spurs.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually they win things, but no, Harry Winks got relegated.
Who else on that? Is it Lo Celso?
Lo Celso,
Reguilon. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with Reguilon. Whether we keep him. I think this season has probably not gone. It's probably couldn't have gone much worse for him in terms of injuries. In terms of if we want to buy for him, it couldn't have gone much worse from that point of view. So, but with the way Postecoglou uses his wing backs, I don't know if Reguilon if that suits him either.
I don't know if any of our wing backs or our full backs will suit Postecoglou's inverted. Maybe Emerson, but apart from that, who does suit that?
I don't know. Yeah, it's But he can play. It depends. He doesn't play both of them inverted at the same time. Like it's just when it's one side to side kind of thing. So,
Like what Mourinho did.
yeah, I guess exactly when the other guy tucking in. So maybe it's. I think Porro could learn to do it if he's a bit more careful with his passing. I think he has the ability to do it. When it comes to someone like Reguilon, I don't rate his passing ability, like even like in general play. So I don't know whether he fits it. But then again, it's going to be hard to get a buy for him.
It's another one of those sad stories, Reguilon, because when we signed him, he was like one of the most sought after left backs in European football. Like Man United were after him, Spurs were after him. There were
We
like
picked United
suitors.
to him, didn't we?
Yeah, there were suitors all over Europe for him, big clubs as well. But I mean, his career since joining Spurs has just taken an absolute nosedive, and his injury problems. I mean, I think every one of those players on that list probably needs to go. And I put Ndombele in there as well. Everyone knows my feelings on Ndombele by now, but I just don't know. I just don't have it in me to give him another chance. To be fair,
Look, as I said with Ndombele, I think he's got so much ability. If we're going to cancel his contract, it's worth having another look, in my opinion. It does make sense to cancel it
we've
without
got
the
Udogie
manager.
coming in as well.
Udogie, I think he could do the inverted wing back actually. I think he could do that well. But look, that's 9 players on that list. It's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of players going in and out, and that's not even including, people saying Højbjerg might be at risk as well. Dyer was on that list. So I guess that's
In terms of if we get rid of every single player on that list, you need to bring in a replacement for Hugo, replacement for Perisic, replacement for Sanchez, Sessegnon, Davis, and Dyer. That's 6 players. The rest of them are loan players that didn't have places in the squad anyway.
So that's at least 6. At least 6 signings. If we get then, you're not even getting.
Which we do usually make every summer.
Not even getting into Harry Kane or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of movement. I mean, but that's the big thing. That's the in a weird way, that's the biggest thing we've struggled with over the last 4 years. Not necessarily bringing players in; it's getting players out. We've struggled in a lot.
And Arsenal were in the exact same position, and they ended up having to cancel loads of contracts because they couldn't shift them on.
Ozil, Mustafi.
I've got a feeling that we're going to be in the same boat. Like, how many more years can we just try and shift these? This has got to be the last point of call, surely.
The thing with Davis and Dyer, we've never tried to shift them. I think now it's the first year. With Sanchez, I think we have, and I think that's failed. And then Winks we definitely have. Lo Celso we clearly have. And Ndombele we clearly have. And we just haven't been able to.
Yeah, so very, very. I mean, it is an exciting summer. New manager, a lot of movement to be done, a lot of content for us to make for you guys over the summer.
But what I hear from this is like, what I gather from what Matt Law's, if I'm reading between the lines, it kind of tells me that Sessegnon and Sanchez, it sounds like we want to get rid of by any means necessary, but Dyer and Davis only if we get a good offer.
Yeah, that's what I read from it as well, to be fair.
So we could be seeing Dyer and Davis still in the squad next season.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, we'll have to see how it pans out, but Paul O'Keefe has been talking about potential options that we're looking at, and apparently what he says is that Harry Maguire is an option to consider for this summer. I mean, why?
Good question.
Especially if we're going to move to a back 4.
Yeah, if we're going to move to a back 4, it doesn't make too much sense, in my opinion, to get Maguire. Although, look, he was good in a back 4 at Leicester when he was there. For England, he's been much better in a back 3, although he has played in a back 4 and not looked as bad as he has been at Man United. But at Man United, he has looked terrible. Over the past 2 years, he's just been absolute shambles. Let's be honest. I can't remember a good run of form he's had, in a Man United shirt. I actually think, though, under Solskjaer, 2 years ago, when that season under lockdown, he was actually pretty good when they finished second. He was actually good that season. I actually think he is a bit underrated in terms of he's been so bad. I don't think that truly represents his actual quality, how bad he's been over the past couple of years. I think he's better than what he's showing. I don't know whether it's because he's had a confidence issue. I don't know whether the system doesn't suit him or whatever it is. I don't think he's as bad as he is now. But if we're spending big money on a centre-back, I don't want to spend it on a centre-back who's just woefully out of form. We just did that on Longley. It didn't quite work out. I don't want to spend more money on another centre-back just to hope for him to regain form. You know what I mean? And also, logically, you're spending money on a centre-back who shouldn't really fit the system as well, in theory. Maybe he can, I don't know, manoeuvre it in a way where you're not exposing Maguire as much. But we shouldn't have to be starting from that start point. You know what I mean? You should be wanting players who fit the system perfectly rather than buying a player so you can kind of squeeze him into the system.
All it is, if we sign Harry Maguire, or if we come close to signing Harry Maguire, that just tells me all it is Daniel Levy and Enoch up to their old tricks again. You know, just signing players because they think it's a good deal and a good value. That's all it is.
From Levy's point of view, you could probably say, "Oh, I can get a cheap deal for Man United's captain, an England international, who's not too old. He's what, 27 or something."
Man United captain. That's a joke of the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably how he sees it. He sees it as a good deal optically in that sense. But when you look at it from a footballing terms, it's not a good deal. And it's not one we should be pursuing. But if you're looking at homegrown kind of players, maybe that's the way they're looking at it. And if let's say Maddison's off the table, like
you go get David Raya.
David Raya, as he counts as homegrown.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, how many players do we need for homegrown?
Well, I don't know exactly how many we need, but I imagine it is one or two. I don't imagine it being 3, 4, 5.
If Kane leaves, it could be another one.
Yeah, that's true. But look, surely, if you want to get homegrown players in, you look at younger, more up and coming players.
Spend the money and get
Guehi, Harvey Barnes, David Raya. You know, there are so many players out there that you can fill the homegrown quota out. You don't go and get Harry Maguire just because it ticks a few boxes.
Can you convince Colwell to come out of Chelsea? You know what I mean?
No chance.
You know, why not?
No chance.
I reckon they would sell.
They just rejected a bid from Brighton.
30 million.
They won't sell him. They won't sell him. He's going to be one of the stars of the Premier League. And
They just signed Fofana and Badshile, and they have Koulibaly.
Yeah, but now Poch is the manager. It's a completely different kettle of fish. Poch, you know how much Poch loves these young English players coming through. He's going to make Levi Colwell an out-and-out England international.
If he's smart, he'll do that. But whether,
he will do that.
But whether depends how much, because Bowley, look, they need to sell players. They have to this summer.
They will. They've got plenty of players that they're going to sell. And
they might, but if they can't sell some of them, they might have to sell Colwell. They might be forced to. Is my point.
I don't know. I think they would rather let him go on loan for another year or two than rather sell him. This guy is going to be a gem. I'm telling you.
I know. That's why I want him.
And Pochettino will 100% know that. 100%.
Well, anyway, someone of that ilk, that's what we should be going for, not Maguire.
Exactly. But I think Levi Colwell is completely out of our range, to be honest, especially as he's at Chelsea. But let's talk about Harry Kane. Matt Law saying that Real Madrid have made Harry Kane their number one target. Tottenham would demand at least 100 million for their talisman. I know you spoke about this last night on the stream, but I saw a report the other day that Spurs could demand up to 200 million for Harry Kane. But
that'll probably be the starting offer from Levy.
I'm telling you now, if Real Madrid come in for an offer of between 100 and 150 million for Harry Kane this summer, we have to take it.
This is what I said yesterday. I think I was looking at this story yesterday, and I was looking at it from all angles. Right? Will Kane want the move? In my opinion, I think yes. I think he would move if the opportunity came around this summer. Will Levy be willing to deal with Real Madrid and do a deal for the right price? Yes, I do think he would. Would Madrid be willing to go up to pay the price we asked for if it's about 100 million? Considering Benzema's gone and they've got a lot of money to spend and they need a bit of a refresh up front. So would they be willing to go to 100 million for Kane? I reckon they would. So I honestly, and will the fan base, will they kind of, not willingly, but will they accept a move to Madrid more than like a Man United next summer or something like that? I think so as well. So I just think this deal makes sense out of every angle. And I honestly think if Levy and Madrid can agree a deal that suits both parties, which I think there might be some leeway with Levy when it comes to allowing him to go abroad, especially if Kane is going to force the move and he's going to say, look, I really want to move now. I want this move to happen as soon as possible. I don't want to stay here another year. I'd rather just go to Madrid now and start that next phase of my career. Even with this Premier League record in sight and in mind, I don't think he'll look at it as if he's sacrificing the Premier League record for a move to Spain. I think he'll look at it as if as he can go to Spain and he could still come back at 33 or 34, top of his game, and break the record then, in my opinion. So I don't think it's one or the other. And I think
it could be, though.
It could be, but I think, look, he is risking it, but I don't think he's forfeiting it. You know what I mean? I don't think it's like guaranteed he's not going to win it. I think it's still likely he'll win it. He'll win it if he comes back at 33, in my opinion. I still think he's got many top years left. Even he can play till he's like 36, 37. We saw Ronaldo at 37 score 18 Premier League goals. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility. He can come back at 33 and still get 20 goals a season for a couple of years.
I just always thought that he would want to break it and then maybe move abroad. I didn't think, like, you know, when he had his plan set out in his head that he would think he would have gone abroad to Real Madrid before he did break that.
Yeah, I think ideally he would want to, but at the end of the day, look, he's already missed the boat with one big move to City. I don't think he's going to want to miss another one, to be honest. I really don't. I think, I mean, you never look. I know he can move on a free next summer, but you just you never know what move is going to be ahead of you, what door's going to close if you don't take it right now.
Yeah, surely,
and he's already seen with City that door's closed now with City.
Yeah, I get that because of the money, but surely, like, he would think, like, he would back himself that on a free transfer there'll be plenty of massive clubs coming in for him for a free transfer. No one passes up on the option to buy one of the best players in the world for free.
Of course not, but I don't think he would want to as well. On the flip side, I don't think, first of all, you just never know. If Madrid sign a superstar, I don't know who they would sign, but if they sign a striker this summer, are they going to want to spend another 400 grand a week on Harry Kane? Maybe not. I don't know. But who knows? This is the unknown. If he knows he wants them this summer, that's guaranteed. Next summer, he might be on a free, but no one knows what the future holds. And as well, I don't think he's going to want to. I think he would rather get a fee for his club. I don't think he'd want, in a way, screw over Tottenham and leave on a free and leave for nothing. I think if Tottenham can get a substantial fee like 100 million, I think he would see that as more of a win for Tottenham than leaving on a free as well. And I do still think he cares about Spurs in that way. So I think he would rather get a fee for Tottenham, go to Madrid now, rather than stay a year for not much upside and go on a free where he might still have the pick of the clubs, but there's no guarantee anyway. So I think this move makes sense if Madrid come in for it. I think it does.
There's also the family and the human element to it. Does he want to uproot his whole family, just about to have another kid, his family settled in London, settled in schools and all that kind of stuff? Does he want to uproot his family? Does his family want to be uprooted to Madrid at this stage? Who knows?
I don't know.
Like
that I can't tell. I'm just talking about what I do know, and that's the footballing side of it. And I think it just all makes sense for this deal to happen. I don't see any real reason, apart from maybe he's that determined to get the Premier League record that he would stay. I don't see too many reasons why this deal wouldn't happen if Madrid actually pay the price we want.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think this one, I would prefer this to happen than for him to run it down and go to somewhere in the Premier League, or for us to sell to someone in the Premier League. And I think you're right. It does make sense, but then there is the human element to it as well, which we don't know about. If his family don't want to get uprooted to Madrid, and if they don't want to get uprooted to Madrid, then I still think he knows, and everyone knows, that in a year's time, on a free transfer, he'll have his pick of many top clubs. Many top clubs, and Man City might be there. Real Madrid might be back in there. I think
if he doesn't want to get uprooted to Madrid, then he's not going to move in a year.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, in a year's time, it would still be there if he wanted to move on a free transfer, probably.
Yeah, but he might as well move now.
He might as well, yeah. I agree with that, but what I'm saying is that waiting one more year, he'll have so many more different options, and then he can pick literally anything he wants to do, literally.
Yeah, he might choose. I think in a way that would probably be the smart thing. Personally, he will probably get a higher wage, he'll probably get the signing on fee, all that kind of stuff. But I just think, if it can happen this summer, I think he would want it. I think he would rather go now and not waste another year. He's 30 at the end of the day. I don't think he would want to waste even one more year of his career.
But one more year is not wasted, because he's just getting ever closer to that Alan Shearer record.
It's not wasted from that point, but it is wasted from the point of it's just another year probably not winning trophies. And that is, if that's the main focus of his career right now, if that's what he really wants, then it is a year wasted, because he's not getting any younger at the end of the day. Yes, I fully believe he's got many years ahead of him. I believe he can go to his 36, 37 and playing at a very high level. I believe that. But at the end of the day, you just don't know. An injury can happen. Maybe he gets an ACL. You just don't know what the future lies ahead, and why waste time hoping for something when you know if you go to a bigger club, there are more just bigger chances straight away, and you can't hang around. Even I think at his age, another year is a big deal, in my opinion, at his age.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to see how it pans out. Obviously, news will be coming to us all throughout the summer, which we'll keep you updated with.